Welcome, everybody. My name is Esco Zhang. You are watching an Chinese and English bilingual show. So, in this video, I want to talk about the abandoned Chinese. When I say abandoned, I mean the orphans that were abandoned by China, by Chinese parents, and adopted by foreigners, mostly Americans. Here we have this news. This girl, she was abandoned over 20 years ago. Now, she came to China trying to find his birth parents.
Hello.
She made a video hoping people could provide her with clues or hints to find her birth parents. Not only this news, we have also this news. Not this news. Yes, this news. This is a few years ago. It was quite sensational at that time, and I also want through these two news I want to talk about why they are left, why they are abandoned by their parents.
My name is Allison Betcher, and I'm trying to find my birth parents. I was born on July 20th of 1995 in Yueyang, Hunan. I was abandoned at a train station and found by...
So it all happened from 1995 on July 20th, the first day. This is her Chinese name, Yue Jinhua, came to China, came to the world. She was abandoned by her birth parents at the Yueyang North Railway Station. Um, this is like complex railway station residential area. So the police found her beside her cradle. There was a red letter saying that the birth date of her, stating the birth date of her. So the police, they couldn't find her parents or any relative. She was sent to the welfare. At that place, she got her Chinese name Yue Jinhua. Luckily, shortly after she was sent to the welfare house, she was adopted by an American couple. After that, she was taken to America until now, which is after 25 years. This is his picture, her pictures. She always wanted to find his real parents. The birth parents can't say real. Now, this is quite common. We have seen news about these abandoned children coming to China trying to find their parents from here and there. This is another dude, another girl. Now, this one, her name Jana. She graduated. He's from Yale. At that time, this is this news. It was quite popular at that time. Uh, he even made like a research on the adoption of Chinese children by foreigners. Interestingly, when she tried to, here in this case, there are 5 or 6 couples contacting this girl, claiming that they are their real parents. Right now, they are doing the DNA test. The result will be public, will be available very soon. This one is even more crazy. This one, her name Cihna. So when she tried to find her parents in her birth parents in Wuhan, more than 50 Chinese couples claim to be her real parents. Now you could see how rampant that child abandoning was at that time. Here it said that from 1992 to 2013, according to some statistics, there are this number of international adoptions. 139,000 Chinese children have been adopted by their foreign parents. You can see like most of these children are girls. All of them are girls. Now you could understand that probably why they are abandoned. I would say like probably the number one reason is that they are girls. In China, especially before, boys are much more preferred than girls. Now it's better. Now it's more like equal. Another reason is that probably they have this abandoned children. Often they have some kind of disease. Many of the times the heart disease. And their parents, they think that it will cost them a fortune to kill them. So they just abandoned. Another reason is that China has a one-child policy. So probably this child is not in their plan. They will have a very large sum of fine if they give the child a legal identity. So they just abandoned it. Another reason could be their parents are poor. They don't have the money, the resources to raise them up. Now, I want to also talk about this article. This is from this girl is from China. China Cook, the adopted girl claimed by 50 birth families. It happened 2 or 3 years before. So she graduated from Yale. She came back to China, to Wuhan, to try to find her real parents or birth parents. To her surprise, over 50 couples claimed to be her real parents. This is an interesting article. I just glanced a little bit. I want to read it. It tells you a lot about China, about the demographics, or just the way Chinese people think, and also the way foreigners think. And also, I want to point out, seeing this Chinese born in foreign countries, I think there's quite a lot of difference between them and also Chinese born in China. The language, of course, number one. Also, I would say like foreign Chinese, they smell better. They just have this natural smell. And also, especially for girls, Chinese born and raised abroad, they are not that as white as Chinese born and raised here, because a lot of girls here in China, they use this in their cosmetics. They have this whitening powder. Here we think being white is pretty. In the West, maybe like in America, in their cosmetics, they don't use the whitening stuff. So back to this article. This article is written by Jana Cook. I went to China to find the birth mother who left me on a street corner. Instead, I became the focus of a nation's buried pain. A woman in her mid-40s cradled a scrap of blue clothes checked with red. Have you seen? I'm sorry. My throat is a little bit. I have to clear my throat because today the weather is very polluted. I could show you the level of pollution here. See, today is very very unhealthy. I was out for like 3-4 hours. When I'm back to my apartment, my throat feels very uncomfortable. I have to drink the water. So today is very polluted. Tomorrow is middle level polluted. The day after tomorrow and furthermore is good. So if the sound is not that good, so bear with me. I'm sorry for that. She asked, "Do you recognize this pattern?" I held it up to the light and noticed the cotton edges had frayed and tattered over. "Yes, we already have 3 girls," she explained. "We needed a boy. We were so poor. I saved our money for the clothes, and I spent a month hand sewing a little baby suit and matching height. After 50s, I abandoned you by a bridge." But she used the Chinese word "lost" instead of abandoned. Lost in Chinese is called 丢. Abandoned in Chinese is 遗弃. Now, yes, they would definitely use the word lose. Perhaps in their opinion, they think that abandon is too strong. It indicated that they are doing it wrong or they are like a criminal. Lost indicated that they have to do it. You can say this: lose you there, they threw you there, they put you there. I dressed you in the new clothes for a new look. I kept the scrap for 20 years to remember you. My little baby, you must have seen these clothes before. You must have the matching clothes. No, I shook my head. I had never seen it. Her face fell and she began to sob. This was the summer of 2012 in the oppressively humid industrial city of Wuhan, China. I grew up in Massachusetts and had returned to Wuhan with my adoptive mother in search of my birth parents. I felt I owed it to my birth parents to try to locate them. In my opinion, you didn't owe your birth parents anything. Instead, your birth parents is their fault to abandon you. But most of all, I owe to myself. I never expected that the search would attract an outpouring of media attention, bringing forward dozens of families and claiming that I was their lost daughter, and uncover a nationwide plan forged over decades with which the country is still reckoning. One of the reason why she got the media attention at that time, Chinese media attention at that time, is that she is studying at Yale. Yale is a very prestigious university. Chinese, we know all this too. So yes, like probably many of these families claiming to be your parents, they don't know. They know that they are not your real parents, but seeing that you are from Yale, they want to try their luck. Once they have a daughter from American graduating from Yale, probably means that they will have a deep pocket after that. You probably have to have the responsibility to to take care of them. Now that's in the mind of the traditional Chinese, is that the children have have the responsibility to take care of their parents. Not just financially, you have to be at their side, constantly. And I had written on a grant from my university fellowship office. My proposal stated that I would document the process of searching so that it could serve as a useful guide for that over 80 plus Chinese international adoptees living in the US. I had planned to visit 3 Chinese government officials to look for my adoption records and then hand out missing person flyers on Wuhan's busy sidewalks. I wanted to search because I felt that going through the process, regardless this process, would be a release. As planned, shortly after arriving in China, my adoptive mother and I visited the government offices and handed out flyers. It all changed about a week into our trip when a friend of another friend who worked as a journalist at the local newspaper, the Chutian Metropolitan Daily, offered to write a short article about the search. Yes, that is, they made to the headline, made to the newspaper. So a lot of people didn't know this at that time. This first article. So his search has gone viral. Other Chinese media outlets reported this too. And CCTV even made a short documentary films. Some messages hinted at the deep pain surrounding the relinquishment of children. A college student wrote to me to tell me about finding an abandoned infant on the street, but his patron wouldn't let him take her home. A woman in her 30s wrote about she remembered her parents abandoning her sister in the 1990s, but was afraid to ask them about it. One person composed a song called Dandelion. What is dandelion? Oh. Dandelion.
Dandelion.
Dandelion. He went and sent me an MP3 recording lyrics and sheet music. In the 1980s, 90s, or not even perhaps 1970s, it's nothing new. Abandonment, orphan or child abandonment is nothing new to Chinese. My my mother's sister, he almost abandoned his fourth child. At that time, many Chinese, most of Chinese are poor. When they have three, four, five, four children, it is very difficult to raise them. Sometimes they send the unwanted child to relative or just to strangers, and sometimes like it sold them. They didn't plan to sell them, but sometimes they just can't afford, and some other families, no matter what the reason is, they can't have a child. They just adopt a child. They don't go through the official way. They don't go through the approved official way. They just find a family who have actual child and bought it from them. How could you go from being so unlucky to so lucky? Now, when you say being unlucky, it means that he was abandoned. So lucky means that he is right now American citizen. He was studying in Yale, and she had a caring, benevolent, um, adoptive parents. Here is an interesting point. I believe my story resonated with the Chinese public because so many have relinquished the children. During my research, I met with over 50 birth parents, each of whom I've had left a baby, each of which had left a baby on one single street in Wuhan in March 1992. So on that particular month, if these parents are speaking the truth, it means that at least 50 children or orphans were abandoned in that month, in that particular street alone. The implications of this are quite vast. What about other streets in the same month? What about other months? What about other years? Now, if you ask Chinese, especially born in the 1990s, 80s, 70s, they will tell you like they probably heard about stories of someone being adopted or someone being abandoned. It's nothing new. They have done so varied and tangled reasons, from the one-child policy to the desire to have a son. I would say like the desire to have a son is the primary reason. Most of the adopted children are girls. From poverty to teen pregnancy, or from a child or family member's disability. Yeah. Although it is impossible to pin down the number of relinquished children, it is safe to assume that it is considerable. Yes. Now here is another also interesting paragraph. So when she asked some old workers if she remembered finding a baby nearby in March 1992, she signed and recalled that back in that day, she and her co-worker found an abandoned baby in the station all the time. A retired policeman from the nearby police station agreed saying abandonment was so common in that era that authorities would not even bother recording them. Even if most Chinese hadn't lost children themselves, many had at least heard these stories. I discovered that almost everyone, from waiter to taxi drivers, seemed to have a personal connection to someone who had lost a child to abandonment or adoption, or had adopted a child. Now, in this case, I think the Cihna, her Chinese is good. She could communicate with the Chinese, could get a lot of information, which is very useful for her to to find her real parents, and for her to know the way Chinese are thinking. I see how profoundly American views of adoption and family differ from traditional Chinese conceptions. So, in 2012, I found myself baffled by Chinese journalists' questions. They'd ask, "When did you find out you are adopted?" Number one, their parents, they are Americans, they are white. Most of them are white. You naturally know that you are different from them. You know that you are adopted, and most of these, these parents, these adoptive parents, most of them, I think that they are wealthy white Christians, white and benevolent. In contemporary American society, people are usually told from the beginning that they are adopted, particularly in mixed race family like mine. Now, in China, if somebody is adopted by the Chinese, they don't usually tell you that you are adopted. Most of them, they will keep it as a secret. They will, and even the families, relatives, they also help them to keep that, to not tell the truth to the child, because they may think once they find that they are real parents, they will betray their adoptive parents, and take care of their real parents. Now, that is a real concern. That concern is justifiable. In traditional Chinese mind, the child has the responsibility to take care of their parents when their parents are old. So, what if the adopted find that their real parents and they abandoned the adoptive family? It's a real concern. They'd ask, how could your adopted mother possibly support your search? In the Chinese adoption community in the U.S., families are so eager to search that there are panels and talks and books for adoptive parents on how to search for birth parents. They'd ask, if you find your Chinese birth parents, are you going to rear two sets of parents into old age? American parents usually save for retirement and don't expect to rely on their children for financial support. Yes. Well, this explains probably why there are over 50 Chinese couples eagerly to claim that she is their real daughter. They probably do it for selfish reasons. They think some of them, they know that deep in their heart, they know that she's not their daughters, but they just want to try their luck. If she is their daughter, she probably, in their minds, has to take care of them. I now understand why my adoptive mother's decision to join my 2012 self shocked the Chinese public. Yes, it baffles Chinese. It is unfathomable that for Chinese to think that, oh, they are adoptive parents, even joined her journey to find her real parents. If it's like happened to a Chinese adoptive family, it would be devastating to them. During my follow-up research, many mainland adoptive families confided that they felt it was best if their children never found out they had been adopted. Yes. Chinese adult domestic adopted who had discovered their adoptions and had reunited with their birth family often described being pulled between the two families in a competition for attention, love, and loyalty. That explains why strangers would stop us on Wuhan Street to comment my mother's selfishness while scolding me for turning my back on my adoptive mother. Selfishness.
Selflessness.
Selflessness. Yeah, selflessness. Yeah, selflessness. Right. While scolding me for turning my back on my adopted mother. Chinese people often assume that by searching for my first family, I was hurting my American mom. In my later interviews with Chinese parents who adopted Chinese children, I found it common for adopted parents in China to worry about if their child discovered by the adoption, he or she would no longer accept the adoptive parents. Yes, you can call it selfish. You can sugarcoat by saying this is the Chinese culture. As one you are a student over here, only kids who are not doing well will want to search for their birth parents. Your adoptive mom treats you well. You went to a good school. You are healthy and happy. Why do you need to search for your birth family? It's a typical view reflected readily in the comment section of the Chinese articles about my search and in the private message and email that I received. Yet in the United States, adoption experts and professionals characterize birth search as a normal development step for an adopted person, a universal desire to know one's origin or origins. The Chinese public's polarizing views on my decision to search also hinged on how they imagined my birth parents. Those who supported the search portrayed my birth parents as kind of people who faced hard times and had other cause but to abandon their daughter. Those who disapprove tend to envision birth parents are cruel and greedy. One person wrote, your birth parents was callous and heartless to abandon you. You shouldn't search for them because you don't owe them anything. Some people, all these comments, all these people, they are talking about your own interest, your own benefits, money, your future. Take care of the parents. But in the US, it's just different, Try to take advantage of me. You should not look for your birth parents because when you find them, they will want things from you, like money or like go to America. Yes, definitely. To date, I haven't found my birth parents, but so I don't know what drove them to leave me on Wuhan Street. But I can attest that 50 or so birth parents I did meet felt deep and tangible pain. They threw their arms around me and wept. They bawled and begged to be forgiven. The encounter made me question to what extent birth parents abandoned their daughters in the traditional sense of the word. All of the family emphasized choosing a safe location where their daughters would be discovered quickly and taken to safety, and many parents left there with notes and special clothes in the hope of that these tokens would have them find her later. Yes, one thing is pretty sure, even though the act of abandonment is unacceptable, one thing is sure that they don't want the child to die. They put them in a cradle with clothes. They're probably watching them from a distant place, hoping that some caring person, some benevolent person would notice and take the child. Hope the police, like for example, the police find them, or social workers find them. One family wrote the daughter's birth date and on a piece of unrolled cigarette paper, saying it's all we had. Another family named their children after the parents to hometowns in the hope they would grow up knowing where to find them. Some hours through close so disappointed like the ones in blue and red. Yeah. This is the touching a moving article. I'll put the link in the description box. Yeah. So if you are interested in this article, I'll put the link in the comment box. So thanks for watching. I hope you like this video. I'm out.